Hello guys, GreyHound here, and welcome to a little bit of a different video. I'm going to be looking at the skill trees for each of the characters in Borderlands 3 here on the Borderlands 3 website. They have an interactive skill tree for each of the characters on their website. So I haven't really looked at this a lot. Looked at it a little bit a couple days ago, but I'm going to be looking through this, and we're just going to be taking a look at all of Amara skills. So first up here. Let's do the brawl skill tree. We have Phase Slam. Amara leaps in the air and slams the ground, dealing damage to all nearby enemies and knocking them up so they get pregnant. Okay, Root to Rise. Amara gains increased max health. Amara's weapons shoot bonus damage based on the distance to her target. The closer the target, the greater the bonus. I feel like that's going to be really strong. Amara constantly regenerates health. The lower her health, the more powerful their regeneration. After using an action skill, this bonus is doubled for a few seconds, so that sounds pretty good as well. Amara deals increased splash damage and it takes reduced splash damage. It's PhD flopper, boys. Then we have Samsara. Whenever Amara deals damage to an enemy with her action skill, she adds a stack of Samsara. For every stack of Samsara, Amara gains increased gun damage and health regeneration for a few seconds. Stacks decay after a few seconds. And then we have Helping Hands. For a few seconds after using her action skill, Amara's arms remain active and grant her damage reduction. And over here we have Blight Tiger. Convert action skill to corrosive damage. So what I've gotten so far from this is that we can actually change what element her action skill is. Like here we have chakra, which so it's shock damage, but we can actually, like using something like this, we can like let's just for instance, we can now it's corrosive damage. So it's like those characters like Krieg has like a fire skill tree. Uh, like it just makes it so you can actually do damage against enemies that resist fire by just changing the element, which I think is very cool. Then we have Fracture. Mara summons a line of fists that erupt from the ground, dealing damage to enemies in front of Mara. So the skills in this game are like honestly pretty nuts. Like it's some crazy shit that we're gonna be seeing, and I'm really excited for that. Whenever Amara takes damage, she gains a stack of mindfulness. For every stack of mindfulness, Amara gains improved shield regeneration, delay, movement speed. That sounds pretty good as well. And then we have Amara gains increased melee damage. Additionally, for a few seconds after using her action skill, Amara gains increased melee range. I want to see how far that can like commando knife people. I bet that's gonna be nuts. Vigor, kill skill. Killing an enemy with Amara's action skill grants all allies increased movement speed for a few seconds. So from what I get into this is obviously since it's Brawl, this is her one of her melee skill trees, but she actually has other action skills that we're going to be going over later. Revelation. Amara's action skill now creates a Nova when it damages enemies, dealing damage to all nearby enemies. That's pretty good as well. Downfall. Amara leaps in the air and shoots an elemental beam below her briefly, followed by a slam. Also sounds pretty nuts. One with nature. Amara gains increased max health and elemental damage resistance to her action skill element. Um, do unto others. Whenever an enemy damages Amara, she automatically throws an energy orb back at them, dealing action skill elemental damage. This skill has a short cooldown. Sounds pretty awesome as well. Jab cross. Whenever Amara deals damage to an enemy, she gains increased action skill damage, increased gun damage for a few seconds. Guardian Angel. When Amara enters fight for life, she immediately gains a second one, restores her health, and creates an action skill elemental nova that may knock back nearby enemies. This skill has a long cooldown. It's a 2-minute cooldown. Glamour. Enemies damaged by Amara's action skill become confused and temporarily attack their allies. However, action skill cooldown is increased. So that's pretty much just one skill that I never used on Maya. If Amara targets an enemy with phase grasp, nearby enemies near the grass target are confused as well. Blitz, melee override. Press V While aiming at an enemy to make Amara dash a short distance forward and perform a special melee strike dealing elemental melee damage. If a blitz melee attack kills an enemy, blitz cooldown is immediately reset. Also sounds pretty nuts. Alright, let's take a look at the Mystical Assault skill tree now. So we have Do Harm. Kill an enemy grants Amara a stack of rush. Activating your action skill consumes all rush stacks. For every stack of rush consumed, Amara's action skill damage temporarily increased. We have Phase Cast. Amara sends forward an astral projection of herself doing damage to everything in its path. Fast Hands. Amara's reload speed, weapon swap speed, and mode switch speed improved. So I'm assuming mode switch is like where you switch to your like grenade launcher or whatever. I'm not sure. That's the only thing I remember seeing that you switch modes, but I'm pretty sure there's other stuff in the game as well. Violent Tapestry. Applying a status effect grants Amara a stack of rush. Activating her action skill consumes all rush stacks. For every stack of rush consumed, Amara's status effect chances temporarily increased. Alacrity, I think that's how you say that. Amara gains increased reload speed for every stack of rush. After consuming rush stacks, this bonus is increased for a few seconds. Amara gains increased accuracy and critical hit damage for a few seconds after activating her action skill. Amara gains increased action skill cooldown rate. A portion of damage by Amara's action skills returned to her or a nearby ally as health. Deliverance. Amara sends forward an astral projection of herself doing damage to everything in its path. Whenever Amara's astral projection damages an enemy or object, it releases homing elemental projectiles that trigger action skill elemental effect on enemies. Sounds pretty nuts. Ascendant. All action skill augments gain increased effects. So I'm assuming that's what this stuff is the augments. Enemies damaged by Amara's action skill become phase locked until they are damaged with the duration, and however action skill cooldown is increased. If Amara targets an enemy with phase grasp, enemies near the grasp target are phase locked. So we have reverberation. Amara sends forward an astral projection of herself, so we already did that shit. So astral projection deals increased damage for every enemy it hits. Improved fire rate and charge time. I'm not gonna go through and just read the description. I'm getting kind of annoyed at saying Amara gains. So enemies take increased damage from all sources for a few seconds after being damaged by Amara's action skill. Amara, so this is just gun damage and more gun damage after her action skill. When Amara kills an enemy with a gun or action skill, she creates a homing projectile to seek out new enemies, dealing her action skill elemental damage. Any overkill damage is added to the projectile's damage. That sounds pretty nuts as well. Amara's rush stacks gain increase in effectiveness. When Amara sends forward an astral projection of herself, when it hits a target, it explodes, damaging all nearby enemies. Amara's action skill can be activated while it's cooling down. This may only be used once per completed cooldown. Additionally increases Amara's max rush stacks. Additionally, if why didn't they just put it together? Additionally, if Amara's action skill kills an enemy, it refunds her half of her rush stacks. Also sounds pretty nuts. So let's take a look at Fist of the Elements now. So this is just phase grasp. Mara summons a giant fist that bursts from the ground and locks the target enemy in place for a few seconds. So it's just phase lock, but with a giant fist. So enemies, yeah, it's literally the same thing. Amara's status effects deal increased damage over time and have increased duration. Her action skill effect deals further increased damage. Weapon handling accuracy. I want to know what weapon handling is. Like if that's like just I don't know like what that means exactly. Convert a portion of damage dealt by Amara's weapons into her action skill element. Amara deals increased elemental shock damage. Increased elemental damage. Shock damage is further increased. Amara gains increased melee damage, and her melee damage is converted to her action skill element. So that sounds pretty good. Whenever Amara applies a status effect to an enemy, it has a chance to spread to a nearby enemy. Convert Amara's action skill to incendiary. The internal fist. When Amara summons a giant fist that bursts from the ground and locks the targeted enemy in place for a few seconds. So that's just fucking phase grasp. Whenever the grasped enemy is killed, a new fist seeks out and it grasps a new target. Mara's gun damage is increased for a few seconds after an enemy is grasped. Whenever a player kills a grasped enemy, their current weapon is instantly reloaded. Allure. When Amara's action skill creates a singularity that pulls enemies. So yeah, that's just fucking I don't remember. That one skill Maya has, I don't remember the name. I don't remember skill names, I only remember what they do. Indiscriminate. Amara's bullets that so this is just for fucking kinetic reflection. Or not kinetic, chain reaction. Yeah, so that's just chain reaction. Amara gains increased magazine size with elemental weapons. Whenever Amara triggers an elemental effect on an enemy, when that enemy dies, the enemy explodes, dealing her attuned element damage along with any other element that is currently inflicted on the enemy. This skill has a short cooldown, so it's pretty nuts. I hope it's really gory and just like explode and puff of blood. Ties that bind. Amara summons a giant fist that bursts from the ground and locks the targeted enemy in place for a few seconds. Enemies near the grasped target are linked, and any damage dealt to a linked target is shared between all other linked targets. Fist over matter. Amara summons a giant fist that bursts from the ground and locks the target enemy plus a few seconds. Yeah, okay. After grasping the target enemy, large fists appear and constantly smash the area, dealing damage to nearby enemies. That sounds fucking nutty. Amara gains lifesteal with elemental damage. Whenever Amara applies a status effect to an enemy, she has a chance to randomly electrocute, ignite, or melt that enemy. So I wonder what melt is. I wonder if that's the corrosive. Instead of corrode, it's now melt. And the last skill, Forceful Explosion. Amara's guns deal bonus elements of damage based on her action skill element. It's kind of lame for a capstone skill, but it was. Alright guys, so if you enjoyed this video and you're excited for Borderlands 3, make sure to hit that like button and consider subscribing for future Borderlands 3 and current Borderlands 2 content. I'll leave the link to this website in the description so you can go ahead and check it out for yourself. But make sure you hit that subscribe button as well and turn on notifications to keep up with all my future content. And I'll be seeing you guys in the next video. I'm out. Peace. Violent Tapestry. Applying a status effect against Amara's stack of rush. Activating your action skill can do. Reading is hard. Consumes all stacks of rush. For every stack of rush consumed, Amara's status effect chance is temporarily increased.